See my face? Don't look so bad anymore. Just over here is messed up. And a little bit over here. Otherwise my face looks really clean. Otherwise my face not bad at all. It's not bad. No scrapes or anything. Hardly anything wrong with my face. And just my hands are a little messed up. There's a reflection of a mirror, so not so bad. suffered great damage. The motorcycle. That's where it popped up. Let's see. Record me, man. T-Wild.
Oh, there's Gilbert. And here's a close-up of his scars right here.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, pretty
Oh
clear.
yeah?
Yeah.
T-Wild. See my scars?
Ooh. Here, let's check out your elbows. There we go.
Not so bad. There's a sticker there still.
Yeah. See the date right there.
Yeah, good corner walking.
Yo.
Hey, I'm fixing my hair here. On after Cynthia's birthday.
Cynthia's birthday. Oh, dude.
I'm feeling a lot better, man.
You are?
Yep. I'm gonna walk up.
No!
How I think my mama was gonna go to the Raleigh Haran vacation, and she's probably gonna get some money for me to
Oh,
go.
you're going to?
I don't know. I really don't know. But
Would you
my
like to
mom-
go?
I would, but
Yeah.
if my mom or somebody would give me $300, otherwise I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna be home all through all the time when my mom's gone. So, and she's gone, I'll be able to save up to buy a car. I ain't gonna buy no scooter again. Well, if I do buy a scooter, this time I'll let the rear tire get flat.
Yeah.
I'll let the tire get flat on the streets this time, if I buy a scooter.
So if you buy a scooter, you're not gonna ride it on the freeway no more?
Hell no. I ain't gonna ride that scooter again, period, for a long time.
Well, besides, your license is suspended.
Now, my license probably will be suspended, but for 6 months, so I don't know. But I don't even have a car anymore. So what am I supposed to do now? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt me, because I don't even have a car anymore, and I don't even have money to buy a car right now. I have to save up now.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Somehow. I'm gonna buy like a $1,000 car or something, like a Ford Fairmont or something. Or maybe like Arnold's little car.
Why don't you get a Geo?
Shit, if I had the money. But I'm gonna buy like a $1,000 car. And it's gonna be like it's probably gonna be like a Toyota Celica, like that one over there. Like one of those.
Like that one right there?
Yeah. Okay. Anything on the back, huh?
Uh-uh.
I thought it had something on the back.
No, it's only in the front right there. See, guys?
Yeah.
My case. Cool shirt, man. Cool shirt.
What?
Cool
So
shirt.
now I bet you nobody's now gonna want a scooter now.
I know, huh?
Huh, tough haul. G-Boy's gonna be coming pretty soon.
He is. Along with Arnold.
Yeah. Try to get a picture of my whole self. Or at least half of myself.
There we go.
And then
Oh, here's Gilbert.
what was I gonna say? Yeah. So I don't even
Describe your accident.
Oh, okay. Not accident. I remember I was on my way to West Covina with the scooter, and I was on my way to get parts for my scooter, and including 2 tires, like to make it as perfect as possible. Is it recording now?
Yeah.
And then I was at the same time I was gonna do other things, right? Get a haircut. I was gonna get a haircut right here. And then what else? I was gonna get an extension on a ticket, and then I was on my way, right? And on the intersection of the 210 or 57, my tire blew out on me, right? My front tire, I remember now because of the scooter when I saw it. My front tire blew out on me, and then I stayed in control for about 5 seconds, and during that time I tried to slow down to a stop, but slowly, so that I can slow down to a stop and then I can get off the freeway. Or I was gonna try to get off the freeway, either one. But no, when I tried to do that, next thing I know, everything turned black.
Hey, why is it on the street?
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Get him out.
Everything just suddenly turned black, man. And then next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital, and I've been told I've been in an accident. Oh boy, that was a pretty bad experience.
No, wait, record him.
I gotta tell you, it's a very, very frightening experience to have a flat tire on the freeway. You know, like, it's very frightening to get a flat tire on the freeway, on a car, but on a scooter it's worse. You know, you get so scared because you know you're gonna get into an accident. You know, there's no doubt about it. And I knew that. I was so scared that I fell unconscious before the accident. It was like a little expression.
Yeah.
Deep house.
Well.
Now I'm gonna see if there's anything in the back of my head. Is there anything in the back of my head?
The back of your head? No, it's... Let me see. Turn around. Anything? No, not quite.
Really big. Now zoom back.
Alright, zooming back. Zooming back.
Now I'm gonna walk around and see how my back of my head is with the zoom all the way down.
Okay.
It's alright, huh?
Looks normal.
Record my cherries.
Hi YouTubers, this is Gil. So today it's May 20th, 2020, and today actually marks the 29th year anniversary of the accident that I had on that scooter when I had the wreck on it. So for the little story, so if I can remember back in that day, back in that time, on May 19th, I had just sold the Mercury, you know, back in that time. I was pretty happy to have finally sold the Mercury, but it was not before it broke down though. I was driving the car to my work, to Lisa's coffee shop from Fontana, because we moved to Fontana like 2 months before, so I was driving to Lisa's coffee shop to work, and then it broke, and that's when I succumbed to selling the car for $500. You know, I gave it away for I was originally wanting like $1,300. This was way back in 1991, and that was for an 8-year-old 1983 Mercury. So I just sold it. So I got $500, and I gave half of that to my mom because I owed her money. So the other half I was gonna use it to put it all onto the scooter, to fix up my scooter. So the next day I went ahead and took a ride on that scooter to go ahead and to buy some parts for it, and that included tires because I needed tires at the time. But I thought at the time that I could wait a couple days to put on the tires. I thought I could ride it a while before I have the time to put it on, or the money. Well, I had the money and I was getting ready to get the parts, so I go over there. So on the 10 freeway, like going just before going under the overpass of the 57 freeway, that's where the tire blew out. I had a blowout on the front tire of that scooter, and it made me lose control of the thing, you know. And so apparently I could see that, I mean, a car crashed into me, or like while I was trying to get off the freeway, a car ran into me, like rear-ended me. And at that point, you know, I got injured to the point where it got me into coma, or I mean, how we call it. Well, you know, if I could describe what the experience was like to have the wreck that caused me to be unconscious and everything, well, I mean, when I was riding the scooter and stuff, like on the freeway, I was going about 60 at the time, and suddenly the tire had a blowout. Like, of course, I was able to notice the feeling because, like, started riding roughly, and you know, I could tell you that terrified me when the moment that the tire had a blowout, because I knew it, man. I knew I was gonna have a wreck. I knew I was gonna wreck the thing, you know. So yeah, and then, you know, the next thing I know, like it's like I didn't remember what happened next because I had already wrecked the thing, you know. It's like someone hit me from behind and everything, but it's like I never saw it happen, or I never remembered that happening or anything, because it's like I do know that I was unconscious from that point on, and the way I could describe how that felt, it felt like if I was like relaxed. I do know that it was like a relaxing feeling from the time that I was knocked out. It was like, I would describe it like a relaxing feeling, like, you know, like I was having a really good night's sleep, you know, like I was sleeping really good, but it was not just any ordinary sleep, but it was like a feeling of like resting and sleeping at a beach, like a really nice beach vacation, you know. Yeah, that's how I could describe what it felt like, you know, because, you know, all the sounds of the paramedics that were there, and all the sound of all the people like assisting me, I guess it was, after I wrecked the thing. The sounds of all the people, it just made it sound like, you know, like a really nice beach vacation, you know, like that I was lying down in a really nice peaceful beach with the waves roaring, you know. That's how I could describe the feeling, what it felt like. It was just peaceful, you know, like the feeling of relaxation. It just was, you know. I just know that it was a really cool feeling, you know, if I can remember, you know, like that during the moment that I was unconscious, you know, like I tell you, man, it was a really cool feeling, you know. Like I actually liked that feeling, you know. But, you know, I can also remember, like I just remember like hearing everything. I was hearing the paramedics working on me, but I didn't see or feel anything. I just heard it. I was just hearing it, you know. And then I remember the ambulance ride. Like, I just remember, like, I felt like, you know, it was really nice, you know. It was a nice feeling, like, while I was unconscious, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it's like the paramedics working on me and stuff. It made me feel like I'm getting a massage from a massage parlor at a beach, you know. That's what it felt like. I mean, it was really cool. I liked that. I really liked that experience, you know. I mean, so the next thing I know, I ended up in the hospital, right? So, and then I eventually woke up from the coma, you know, that I would call it, you know. I woke up from this state of unconsciousness, and that's when I started to feel the pain. I tell you, man, now the fun was over there. So, I mean, the fun with the beach is over now. So, yeah, I tell you, man, I remember, I'll never forget that day, because that's where I started to feel a lot of pain, man. I tell you, I mean, it seems like at the time that I can remember the most painful part of me after the wreck is my head. I feel like my head was in the most pain of all, because like the back of my head, because apparently I didn't have a helmet on during the wreck. I feel like my neck and my head was where the most pain was at. I tell you, man, it was so painful, man. I'll never forget that day. I mean, it's sick. So, you know, when the wreck happened, you know, I just know that I'd had an injury on my head. Like, I think back of my head was the main spot that got injured. And of course my neck hurt. I mean, my neck got injured as well. So I had an injury, trauma they called it, you know. And also in the wreck, my front teeth broke in the wreck. Yeah, I had like my 2 front teeth had broke in the accident. And so, I mean, later on, the dentist put crowns on them. And then, as you could see, you saw it in some of my last videos where I recently lost my teeth because, like, the crowns are still good. I had them for 28 years. And then the crowns were still good, but the teeth underneath the crowns rotted away, apparently. So, it was only recently that I had to get my front teeth pulled out. So, imagine that, 28 years after I wrecked the scooter. I mean, well, my 2 front teeth broke in the accident, and they replaced it with crowns and everything, but only recently that I lost my teeth because of they rotted away underneath the crowns. Well, I guess teeth don't last forever anyway, so yeah. So, yeah, and then of course, I think if I can also remember, I think that's the only place that I can remember where damage happened on me. I guess it was just the back of my head, and I'm gonna show it to you. Like on the video. I don't know if it shows, but you've probably seen it on some of the videos. Like the back of my, the balding spot. Oh, the balding spot, that's from the accident. You know, it's not because I'm actually getting bald. It's actually not because I'm getting bald, it's because of the accident. The accident, like I permanently lost hair in that little spot. From the accident. That's from the accident, and that's way back in those days. And I'll tell you, they were doing all the stuff, and I remained in the hospital for 3 days, you know. And then it's like, yeah, I just know that on the first day I was in so much pain after I woke up from that, like the coma or the unconscious state, you know. After I woke up, oh man, I would never want to go back to that part of the time, but I just know that apparently, you know, eventually the pain started like subsiding, and they were taking care of me for a few days, you know, like I stayed in the hospital for 3 days, and apparently, you know, my mom and nobody knew where I was, and I thought that the hospital had already called my mom and stuff, but it took my mom like 3 days to finally find me, or at least a couple of days to finally find out where I was, because like they didn't call. I mean, I thought that they had already called my mom, but they didn't, you know. So my mom went out looking for me, like calling all the hospitals, and then finally, or whatever, police, and they were gonna report me missing and stuff because she couldn't find me and stuff, because I never came home that night, you know. And so if we're talking about, this is the 20th today, right now it's like 6:30 right now. So at this time, I wrecked the scooter at about 10:30 in the morning, and so I was in the hospital at 6:50. I was still in pain. I was in pain at this time 29 years ago. So yeah, I tell you, man, like, so you imagine, you know, like during my financial crisis, you know, like I was like selling off everything, you know. I was selling off everything, including my car, and I was later on gonna be selling off my camcorder too, my VHS. So yeah, I was so desperate for money, you know, because I was only working at the coffee shop at the time. So yeah, anyway, so. And then finally, like after that's when I finally got out of the hospital after 3 days. And I've been told so many times on how lucky I was to survive this, because, you know, I mean, I could have killed myself on this, you know. I mean, I can imagine what things would be like. I always wondered what things would be like, what things would have been like if I would have died in that wreck. I mean, like you figure, like, I was selling off everything. I sold off everything already, and then I wrecked the thing, and then I wrecked the scooter, and then I was like to the point of nothing now. I was like practically to the point of having nothing at all, you know. So I would imagine that if I would have died on that scooter wrecked, scooter wreck, I would have been, like, my mom's house would have had little to no trace of me in there, you know. Imagine that, you know. I would imagine how things would have been like, you know. I always wondered, you know, what would it have been like. Well, apparently my videos would have stopped. I would have stopped making videos at that point. You know, the video that you saw, the video that you guys saw, the last one you just saw, like on May 19th, whatever that thing, the footage you saw on May 19th, that would have been my last video if I would not have survived that wreck on that scooter. I tell you, man, that was crazy, man. So yeah. So today, 29 years ago today, that I wrecked that scooter. So yeah. So over here in this garage, I have tucked away like this package here. This is like all paperwork that I saved from back in the day when I did like when we were getting a settlement and stuff. And then even the accident report and all that stuff. I tell you, man, there's all this information and stuff. And so when I got this, I made a list of what I did with my settlement, you know, I tell you. Everywhere. And then this is a attorney that I used back then, you know, this was 91. So as I could see it, I actually wrote down what my exact experience was, you know. So I'm gonna actually scan this and post it up if you guys want to read it. So yeah. So yeah. So as you can see, like this is the actual police report that had actually happened, you know, between the two car, me and the car, the scooter, and well, this is me riding my stuff, you know. Yeah. Back and so this is like everything that I said, you know, like. So apparently that's how the car ended up, like that car ended up on the shoulder, I guess, and my scooter, as you see, it was on the shoulder by now. So like the car made a break for it, and that's how I ended up. And then they're saying that I ended up like 30 feet in front of the scooter and stuff, you know. I don't know how that happened, but I just know that this is a police report from way back in the day, you know. And then this is like what the witnesses saw. And then of course, you know, for me, I think they wrote down what I said. I mean, what we experienced, or I mean, I'm gonna try to find that part where they actually wrote down what I said, you know, what I said I experienced. Or so that's when they yeah. And well, that's like at the scene, you know, like. And then over here, I mean, that's when they wrote down what we said at 10/20/91 at the hospital. P1, which is me, did not remember what happened. I thought that I had a flat, but does not know what happened. That's what it said. And then party 2 person says at the scene, you know, he said at the scene that he was on the number 1 lane approximately 60 miles with the flow of traffic when an unknown blue truck in the number 2 lane braked. That probably might be my scooter they're talking about. Then me was observed in the front of the truck at approximately 45 miles an hour, and then moved left directly in front of him. So that's what happened. So yeah, that was crazy stories. Well, it's just a simple story there, but I mean, I tell you, I mean, but it's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life, you know, I tell you. So yeah.
Gave him a bath. We gave him 2 baths. 2? Yeah, they put him rock and like maybe some of that ice. You know that that it's that those succulents. They close up the night to deal. And then rock because I would say if you put okay. Yeah.
The release of liability on my car.
Which way should I do it? This way, huh? Because this is glossy kind. And it's hard to erase. And when you erase, you can see everything. I'll just do it this way.
Harry.
Ah! It's not good this way.
Try it the other way, Mommy. I think it's better the other way.
I hate this fork.
I'm not the one doing this one.
I hate this fork. Hate it. Ah. As you could probably see, I have been involved in a motorcycle accident. Just on the 20th of May, just on Monday, I've been involved in a motor scooter accident. And from what I remember on that day, it was a very bad experience I had. And I remember I was going on my way to West Covina to get an extension on a ticket and at the same time get parts for my scooter to make it run at its best. And I was on the freeway, 10 freeway, going towards the 57 intersection. Well, I wasn't going on the 57, but I was near there. And the next thing I know, everything turned black on me. I was just driving normal, 55 or 60 miles an hour on the second lane. The next thing I know, everything turned black. And when the lights turned on, I was in the hospital. And they had told me that I'd been involved in an accident. And I found that very hard to believe because it's a very bad experience. Very unfavorable experience. So I would have to say right now, my scooter is probably gone, I don't know. Maybe it's still rideable, but whether it's gone or rideable, I don't think I'm going to drive that thing again. And I may not be able to have a motor vehicle anymore, because I'm gone. My driving privilege is gone because I don't even have a motor vehicle now, if this one's not running. I would have to consider selling the scooter. But as you can see, my face got scraped, and my hands got scraped, and my arms, but you can't really see it, but it got scraped, and my legs and my back got scraped. But doctors told me that I was very lucky that I lived. They tell me that I was very lucky nothing broke on me. or that I lived or survived. And my 2 front teeth broke too. As you can see. Yeah, I'm just telling you, it's a very bad experience to get into an accident on a motorcycle. Whether you're on the freeway or not, you're gonna get hurt. Whether it's your fault or not, also you're gonna get hurt. Well, right now it's getting bad. I'm getting better right now. As of the 23rd of this month, May, I'm getting better. I'm able to walk now. Now for the first couple days I couldn't because it hurted so bad. My heels hurt real bad right now. It's not so bad, but I could walk. See, I'll have to get pictures of the scooter and have to get pictures of myself and stuff. Yeah, this is a scooter that I ate it on. Munched it on the freeway. It's demolished. Now I could use it for the part. I can like take the good parts and sell them, you know, and get money back for it. So, you know, I'm gonna have to consider this scooter a total loss. So, you know, it wasn't worth that much anyway. So, but I was on my way to get parts for this thing. Demolished.
Yesterday he told me to move, and he gets tired real soon and like that. So I thought maybe I wanted to make a barbecue on Sunday.
Her.
So,
Oops. Girl, let's hold the camera so I can point at me. Because now that way I can get a picture of my own self. It lost its data already. Okay, point the camera at me so I'll see so I can get a picture of myself.
Like you're recording?
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Can you see?
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either this weekend or
Look
next
at how hurt he
if
is.
you're not gonna release the next week.
It's getting
By
better.
then he should be
Yeah.
okay.
Getting a little bit better. Oh, why? Sheesh.
Okay, bueno, yo hablo con Carlota. And then I'll let you know what happened. Okay.
We're like,
Okay, Lisa, she wanted to know how you were doing. Let's go, mommy.
Ah, she knew about that too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Come
you
on,
called
mommy.
everybody.
hi, Mama.
Okay, that's cool.
Wait, Mom, look. Look at the camera.
All the papers are gonna fly away if the kitty cats are sitting down. You're gonna be sick.
Mommy, look at the camera.
Are you going with me?
Well, I'm getting better every day. Oh well, I'm out here after the accident. Do you know what? It's about time I got battery power on this camera. About time, huh?